Welcome, Angry Faithful. Today we are going to talk about Manchester United Sasha Lentz, sports psychologist, set to join Ralf Rangnick's, the backroom staff.
So she's going to be featured on a black leather couch.
You didn't watch... I get your reference on that one, but you never seen Ted Lasso?
I haven't, dude. I have not sat down long enough. I mean, I barely sit down long enough to take a crap and sleep.
Oh, yeah, I understand that.
You know, I mean, much to the dismay of most of the modern world, I'm just now getting on to episode 3 of Yellowstone. So... You know, I'm kind of behind. I mean, I'm watching shit that matters to me.
It's going to be even worse because...
Like Hawkeye, and then, you know, next weekend is Spider-Man No Way Home.
Oh,
I got tickets to opening night, taking the boys.
You're not even going to go to the other one? The Witcher?
Bro, again... There's so many things coming out.
Happen.
I'm just like, oh, jeez.
I'm surprised you haven't checked out Wheel of Time. That was actually pretty good.
Again.
In your defense, though, everything dropped like Thanksgiving weekend.
Yeah.
Everything. Yeah. Cowboy Bebop.
Yeah, which I still haven't finished because I want to watch these things with my boys.
Yeah.
And, yeah, no. Oh, hey. Personal note. Okay, so in addition to this being Army-Navy week, go Army, beat Navy! Okay, anyway, so I know that was really loud and people had to have earbuds in or like, fuck, and then, you know, more than likely they were driving, and you better not be driving with headphones in. That's inherently dangerous. I scored 4 tickets to the Lockheed Martin Armed Forces Bowl.
You were talking about that, what, Sunday?
Yeah, I got the tickets.
That's awesome.
So Army versus
It didn't
Missouri.
take you like 4 months to get it to you, like a jersey for the Army Navy game. I should have mentioned that.
No. I'm not going to direct my angst at you. I am.
So I don't have to tell everybody that I fell down the stairs.
I'm going to employ some basic interpersonal communicative skills here. Okay. I'm gonna, I'm going to use my words. I'm going to use my vocabulary. I'm going to rein in my inside voice. I'm going to harness my inner Mike Rowe for just a minute. So if you will indulge me as I rant, for lack of a better term. Fanatics, you're quite possibly the lowest dregs of the sporting fans' experience.
And that's fanatics.com.
That's fanatics.com.
Well, we gave him a free plug on X.
Well, okay. Be that as it may. However, when people are forced to do business with you because you have contracts with the NCAA, the MLB, the NHL, the NBA, the NFL, and the quality, not only the quality of your product goes down, the prices go up, and wait times become increasingly longer. Because, why? Well, let's pick a plethora of reasons that might actually make sense, but instead it's broadcast proudly on their website that COVID, yes, COVID, the 99.9% survivable virus, with its many variants that dilute themselves over time. What are we on? Omicron? I mean, the next thing you know, we're going to have...
Yeah, we're on the third variant.
We're going to have Megatron and then Galvatron and then...
Yeah, the person that...
And then we're going to have the Starscream variant, which is going to be nothing more than just a whiny bitch. Oh, wait, never mind. We have those already. AOC, I think, is Starcrown. Yeah, anyway, yeah. So getting back to the subject. And when I and my fiance order a jersey, an Army football jersey for the Army-Navy game, one would expect them to be ready and to ship. And when somebody like myself decides that they want to splurge a little, pay for the second or for next business day shipping, you expect it to be in your mailbox and on your body in time for the Army-Navy game, America's game. Right?
Yeah.
No. Fanatics sends me a message stating that shipping times may be delayed, so what does one naturally do? They go to the website, log in, and check the status of their order. And then you see it in bold print. May not arrive until March 16th. So naturally, what do? I harness my inner Karen, or Chad, as it would be, because...
Yeah, it would be Chad. They all agreed it would be Chad.
Yeah, so I harness my inner Chad.
Sorry, Prather.
I start a... Yeah, Mr. Prather, that Chad does not include you. You know, we're just going to call him Kyle. Carl. Shut the fuck up, Carl. Right? Do we know any Carls?
No, we can't do Carl.
Do we know
Family
any Carls?
matters. Carl was the father.
Yeah, I know. But that, like many other sitcoms of the 90s, became politicized. And it became about what? Race. Not to say that the message wasn't needed at the time, but they could have gone about it a different way. I digress. I said what I said. Fight me. Anywho, I'm going to harness my inner disgruntled customer. How about that? Because we don't want to assume somebody's gender. And I ask a very poignant question, one to which they did not have an answer. It says, why is it?
Daryl.
Yeah, okay. So I harnessed my inner Daryl. The non-binary, gender fluid, anorexic, anxiety-ridden,
Fully tattooed and pierced.
fully tattooed, pierced, and blaming it on everybody except the person who matters the most, and that's the one that stares me back in the mirror. That's how he identifies. Anyway, moving on.
Hey, quick question though.
I asked the question.
One question.
No.
If you accidentally,
You will let me finish.
Fine.
See what
Finish.
I did there?
Fine.
You caused me to break away. And, yeah. I was not able to employ cognitive academic language proficiency here, so you're going to have to just back down, pump the brakes there, Fox and Friends. I asked the poignant question of why is it that we're having to wait for a jersey 3 months after the event that we bought the jersey for? Why are we having to wait that long? Well, I can't answer that question. I said, well, then find somebody who can. They submitted a ticket. Supervisors were supposed to have gotten back to me 2 days ago. They have not. Yeah.
Yeah, I bet they're shitting the bricks right now.
Yes, because we will bring forth the full fury of the angry faithful.
All 20 of them.
All 20 of them. So when you're on downtime or you're away from the computer or well in front of a computer, and basically what I'm saying is that just bombard fanatics with a lot of complaints and hate mail. That's all I'm saying. But anyways, so your question? I'm sorry.
If you just accidentally inhale Kool-Aid dust, will you bust through walls? Or will you have more ability to bust through walls?
If you inhaled Kool-Aid dust?
Yeah.
Well, that just depends. I mean, when this should said Kool-Aid dust change the color of your insides, then maybe. That being said, I'm not a transparent albino, nor am I made of glass.
All right, moving on.
So the Major League Baseball has announced its latest class of Hall of Famers, new inductees. Buck O'Neil, Gil Hodges. They headlined 6 brand new inductees. So we got Buck O'Neil. He was a Negro American League player. Went to scouting and then coaching in the Major League Baseball. I mean, he was an advocate of the Negro Leagues.
And yes, that's what they're freaking called.
Yeah. Okay. Moving on. So we got Gil Hodges, Jim Catt, Minnie Minoso, Tony Olivia, and Bud Fowler. This class, no current players, no modern era players are in there. Gil Hodges debuted for the Brooklyn Dodgers at 19 years old in 1943. He was drafted into the Marines to serve in World War II, returned to play 17 more seasons, 15 with the Dodgers and 2 with the Mets. He was able to win 3 World Series titles and made 8 All-Star teams, and then he retired after the 1963 season. He managed the Senators, the Mets, until his death in 1972 at the age of 47. So it was a short life, but man, I'm telling you, it was a full one. We're talking about now. We're talking about my name just Jim Catt. Duh. Okay. He was basically the textbook definition of longevity and consistency. He pitched for 25 seasons. 15 of those came with the Twins. He debuted in the 1950s, retired in the 80s, making 3 All-Star teams, 16 Gold Glove awards, and a World Series championship with the Cardinals in 1982. He led the majors in games started back in back-to-back seasons from 65 and 66. His 16 Gold Gloves are tied with Brooks Robinson for the most all-time. Let me see here. And now we're talking about Tony Olivio. Olivia, I'm sorry. He was a solid hitter. He made 8 All-Star teams, won 3 American League batting titles during that time. He won American League Rookie of the Year in 1964. He had bad knees, so I mean, he didn't get to really play a whole lot past his prime. But he was one of those impact players of his generation. He played for the Twins for the entirety of his career. I mean, that was rare to see. Even more so nowadays. Later, he was on the coaching staff for Minnesota's World Series team in '87 and in '91. And then moving on to Bud Fowler. He grew up in Cooperstown, where the Hall of Fame is located. He was one of the few black families in the area at the time, and is considered the first black player in organized professional baseball, not to be confused with the first one to play in the major leagues. I'm talking about Jackie Robinson there. But he faced widespread racism throughout his career. He played for almost 20 years. He was known to play without a glove, maintained a stellar reputation for his defensive prowess anyway. But just missing the induction was a 7-time All-Star and 1972 AL MVP Dick Allen. He fell one vote short of qualifying. Let me see here. There's one more. I wanted to see, where did my notes go for Minnie Minoso? Minoso. Okay, so Minoso was to Latin ball players what Jackie Robinson were to black players. Okay. Mm-hmm. He debuted in 1949. He was the first acknowledged dark-skinned Latin player in American League National League history. Now, to that extent, when we say dark-skinned, we're talking about your stereo. When you think Hispanic, you're going to think that darker tone skin, things like that, right? Believe it or not, Ted Williams was actually Hispanic.
Yeah.
It was on his mother's side. It was his mother's side.
But it wasn't for the fact of did he actually hide it for a while? Or that was
because his uncle used to play in the Mexican leagues, right? In the beer leagues all over Southern California and Mexico, right? His uncle actually taught him how to hit a fastball. And we're talking major league caliber fastball. Okay?
Yeah.
So, and his uncle was telling him, things like, hey, you need to hide your handicap, because that's what they're going to look at it as. It's a handicap. And the fact that his dad was white with the surname Williams gave him a foot in the door. But, I mean, Ted Williams, again, took 2 breaks from his career to serve in the Marine Corps as a combat pilot, World War II in Korea.
Yeah.
And still came back and managed to hit 540-something home runs. Still was the only guy to ever bat 406 for a season. I mean, but the game itself is something that it's not just inclusive to cornbread fed white Americans. It's not. Never has been, and it never will be. We've got players in Japan. I mean, they treat the game like a religious institution. We got players in the Caribbean, especially the Dominican Republic. They have baseball academies that parents save and they sacrifice to enroll their kids in these academies. And some of the best players in the world come from Japan. Some of the best players in the world come from the Dominican Republic. And, I mean, you see a lot more international flavor in the game nowadays, because you're going to get these Cuban defectors. You're going to get these Dominican players, these Venezuelan players. There's some Mexican players in there as well. And they're even coming over from Europe, Canada, Japan, like I stated earlier. So it's, to me, the game itself. Now, I'm not talking about the players' union. I'm not talking about the ownership groups. I'm not talking about any of that. I'm talking about the state of the game itself. With the passion that still exists for this game on a world stage, I think it's in pretty good hands. What's going to end up killing this game? Again, these multi-$100 million contracts. The longevity of the contracts, I don't mind, because that helps kind of like level the playing field and ensures that we get to watch one player grow up in one team, in one system.
Yeah.
The way it should be. These free agents that go out there and like, well, I know you drafted me and I know that I've been a part of this community for years, but I don't want your paltry $35.6 million. I want to go out there and see if I can make more. Again, I don't disparage these players from going out and doing the things that they're doing, making the most they can for themselves and their families. I get it. But at some point there needs to be a line drawn that says...
My only understanding, trying to figure out, is what do they do with most of that money anyways? I mean, honestly, if I got that much money, I'd be investing heavily in stuff. And...
Hold on.
Oh, that's neat. Okay.
Okay. I just get a message from the mother of my boys, and she's like, our son just took his phone into the shower, got it wet, and fried it. I'm like, oh. Well, okay. Like, oh, brother. Okay. But, yeah, so, I mean, baseball news, I mean, that was pretty historic. I mean, this was a great Hall of Fame class for the legacy players. It really was. And, it's good to I mean, while it's good to see the modern era players get in there because that's who we grew up watching. You know, those are people that we can look back in our own memories and say, I remember when. But these names that really helped get they really helped plant the foundation of what evolved into the game today. Yeah, I'm completely happy and satisfied with this class.
Yeah,
I really am. But yes, I mean, but that was really the only baseball news. In for the week, we need to talk about football. The picks for the week. They were not kind.
And what's really sad is one of the picks I almost had you switch. You were like, "No, we're doing it this way." And
yeah, we'll get into that in just a second. Now, we did start off on a great note. We picked the Cowboys over the Saints. Cowboys beat the Saints 27 to 17. So.
And what's really sad though is right now the Cowboys, which hasn't in a long time, seem like they could be a contender. This year they might actually be a contender.
Hey,
yeah,
hush your mouth.
But
okay, now
another team that's showing up to play is the Dolphins.
Yeah, I'm getting into that. So you're doing it again this week. I mean, you're getting ahead of me. The host. This show, you're the co-host.
I know.
You're the color. You're the color commentator. I'm the play-by-play guy.
I know, but I read things and I learn stuff, and
and you're enthusiastic, and you want to come to class, and you want to show and tell, but I need you to shut the fuck up. Okay. We had picked the Giants to beat the Dolphins. Yeah, no, 20-9. The Dolphins spanked the Giants.
Yeah.
We had the Colts over the Texans. That was not a disappointment. That was 31-0. We had initially picked the Vikings to beat the Lions. Seemed like a safe bet. The Lions came in and threw the most improbable touchdown pass as time expired in the fourth quarter to beat the Vikings 29-27. It seems like the Lions have been involved in more 1 to 2 to 3 point games than any other team this season. Nobody had the Lions picked to win, period. I'm like, holy crap. I mean, and then you watch the footage when they won that game. Everybody is jumping around like the bad news fucking Bears just won the Little League World Series or something. I mean, there's gear getting tossed in the air. There's kids. I mean, there's dudes jumping around like kids. I mean, you'd think that they had just won the Super Bowl, right? And I halfway expected Detroit to burn itself to the ground. Like, these people are going out of their minds and they don't know what to think. Everybody's like, finally, Jeff Goff won us a game. He goes from the most prolific offense last year to us. What the hell? But anyways, moving on. We had the Eagles over the Jets.
I knew it.
33-18. What?
The bad news: the Bears didn't win the game.
It was an example.
I know, but they didn't win the game.
I know.
They ran on the field like they won the game.
It was like you'd swear. Roll the tape back. I don't give a fuck.
Okay. Whatever.
Jesus. Semantics here, man. Come on. Context. Listen. I'm telling you, man. Just so highly disappointed. I mean, seriously, use your basic interpersonal, communicative skills here, man. BICS. Let's go. Bix. Use it. Learn it. Love it. Okay? Can we do that? All right. Great. Awesome. Good. Moving on. All right. So we had Eagles over the Jets. That happened. We also had the Cardinals over the Bears. That happened. We had the Bengals over the Chargers. Not so much. 41-22 Chargers. We had the Buccaneers over Atlanta. That happened. 30-17. Tom Brady is now 10-0 versus the Falcons. All time. We had the Rams over the Jaguars. That happened, 37-7. I'm surprised that the Rams defense let the Jaguars score. We had the Raiders over Washington. Washington showed up, got semi-chippy. The Raiders did what the Raiders do in the second half of their seasons. They crumbled, lost 17-15. We had the Ravens beating the Steelers. Normally that would be a safe bet. But then Ben Roethlisberger, for whatever reason, decided he remembered how to throw a football and won the game 20-19.
Could you imagine being inside of his head and you're like, oh yeah, I can throw this damn thing.
Right. So we had the Niners beating the Seahawks. Seahawks decided they remembered how to play football. They beat the Niners 23-30. We had the Chiefs over the Broncos. That one was a pretty safe bet. Chiefs won 22-9. Now, I told you that this game, the Monday night game, last night's game between New England at Buffalo, that was going to be a good game. And I went out and I said, I'm taking the Patriots over the Bills. 14-10, New England. Mac Jones, yes, he's the quarterback. He's an integral part of the offense. The defense kept him in that game, and he, passing wise, didn't have a whole lot to do with the outcome of the game.
You know, there are times that I even amaze myself. I mean, I literally go up and going, they did what? Really? Wow. Hell, I'm still surprised half the time my Abacadabra actually gives me 9%.
So we're going to do this one here, and then that one there.
Oh, yeah, I was doing this research because just because it's all over Facebook right now with the, was it Joel Osment?
Joel Osteen.
Joel Osteen, the whole lottery stuff. I was wondering what it is basically for, because I thought he literally gave money to people, which I was like, nah, no.
Okay, so I haven't been paying attention.
No. The whole thing was he did a sermon on, I think it was like this Sunday or last Sunday, about what would you do if you won the lottery? Would you give it to people and everything? Or you hold it to yourself? Blah blah blah. And then these memes just came out. Like there's this one that's like when you get a call about clogged toilets in a Houston mega church, and there's like it's a Mario Brothers like one of the levels. It's 8-1, and you're going in, you're collecting all the coins and everything.
Yeah. God, dude, I'm telling you, that guy lost a lot of favor with people when Katrina, or was it Harvey?
Yeah, it was Harvey.
Yeah, Harvey, and he
He
only opened the doors until when he was shamed into it.
Yeah.
And even then, they closed off a majority of that church and said, "You can only stay here, here, and here, here."
Yeah, but he's still getting patrons. So
yeah, well, the Yankees still have people that pay the taxes in that city to be able to afford to sit in that shithole of a stadium called Yankee Stadium. Anyways, so we're moving on to our picks for Week 14. I'm going to take the Vikings on the Sunday night game over the Steelers. Moving on, Cowboys at Washington. We're going to go Dallas all the way.
I so want to do this. Best decoration ever. Straw dummy, $10. Leaning ladder, $0 from garage. One set of lights, $5. Freaking out your neighbors, priceless. I think this is our it finally got to me. I'm a patron of our own fan page on Facebook, and I can't get a lot of the memes unless I scroll down forever. It's weird. But anyways,
That's because we're logging into the pin. When you go to our page, it recognizes you as that page. And so you have to get through all the administrative crap and all the stuff, all the analytics and stuff before you can even get to where we can write a post.
No, I'm talking about my personal page.
Okay.
It's weird.
All right, so what we're looking at here, I'm taking the Vikings over the Steelers, Cowboys over Washington. The Titans are going to beat the Jaguars because the Titans really need a bounce back game, and the Jaguars, I think, are just they're just. I mean, they're the medium rare piece of meat that just needs to be pounced on. That's all I'm saying. Gonna take Seattle over Houston. That's gonna be a sausage fest. We're gonna take the Chiefs. We're going to take the Chiefs over the Raiders. The Saints are going to bounce back, and they're going to beat the Jets. Jets. Jets, you suck still. Okay.
You really don't like the Jets.
You know what? I don't like teams from New York. How about that? Okay, so this is going to be an exercise in futility. This game is the Atlanta Falcons over the Panthers of Carolina, so we're going to take Atlanta. Come on. Why did I type that in all caps? Because I cannot type. My brain's all 7 sheets to the wind right now. No, it's not because I'm inebriated. I'm not inebriated, you illiterate faithful. It's been a long day. Okay, so moving on. Next, we're going to have Baltimore at Cleveland. We're going to take the Ravens over the Browns. Because why? Well, they're the Browns. The New York Giants at the LA Chargers. We're going to take the Chargers on that one.
You know, one thing we haven't really talked about, and everybody's talking about it, is Squid Games.
The old man was it on it.
Yeah.
The front man is the cop's buddy. And the player for 469? 429?
Yeah.
Yeah, anyway, the player with the highest number, the 469 guy, Guy Hun.
Yeah.
Yeah, he wins. He gets pink hair. He's about to get on a plane to go to L.A. to be with his daughter. Calls the number on a card that he found for the Squid Games again. The front man gets on the phone, tells him, player 469, get on the plane and stay away. So he hangs up the phone, and he turns around and walks away from the plane. He's going to be in season 2, and he's going to try to bring the whole thing down.
Yeah.
So there you go. Spoiler alert. Let me see here. See what I did there? I just completely and totally encapsulated 10 episodes into about 45 seconds. Okay. Because let's face it, all the other characters, they're inconsequential. Really, they are. All right, so moving on. So, do we take the 1-10-1 Lions over the Broncos, who are at 6-6? I think not. I say Denver over the Lions. All right, the Niners at the Bengals. I think the Bengals are going to figure it out, so we're going to take the Bengals over the Niners. This is going to be a fun game. The Bills are going to Tampa Bay. This is Tom Brady playing one of his old AFC East foes. We're going to take Tampa Bay over the Bills. Yes, that's right. I'm taking the Bills to win or to lose 2 weeks in a row. So there you go. All right, Chicago at Green Bay. We're going to take Green Bay over the Bears because, well, it's the Bears. And it's December in Green Bay. Now this is going to be the fun game. The LA Rams, who are 8-4, at 10-2 Arizona.
And the defense of the Bears this time frame, if they're going to be in Green Bay, they're not going to be dodging bullets and everything like that. So they should be like filling a safe place. So they might actually play well. What? There's more people that actually died in freaking Chicago than Iraq War.
Okay. I get it. Okay. I'm not going to argue with you on that one. All right, so we're going to recap here. Vikings over the Steelers. Cowboys over the Washington football team. Titans over the Jags. Seattle over Houston. Chiefs over the Raiders, Saints over the Jets. Atlanta is going to beat Carolina. The Ravens are going to beat up on the Dogs of Cleveland. Chargers are going to beat the Giants. Denver is going to demolish. No. You know what? I'm going to call that one as another 2-point game. Denver coming out on top. The Bengals are going to beat the Niners. Tampa Bay is going to beat up on they're going to beat the Bills. And I don't know so much about beating up on, but they're going to beat the Bills. Green Bay over the Bears. And Arizona over the Rams. So there is that. Those are your Week 14 picks. And as we speak right now, come on, where'd he go? See, I got to scroll past all this crap.
Yeah. While he's doing that, we want to take a heartfelt moment. This is the 80th anniversary of the Pearl Harbor attack.
Yeah, December 7th, 1941, a date that will live in infamy.
Yeah. What was the other thing? Oh, yeah. And we did this, we were talking about this before we actually started the show and everything. We're avid, well, I am an avid Drinking Bros follower and everything, and I'm just so glad that Ross Patterson finally he's better. He looks like crap, but he's got over like double pneumonia. And if you actually watch this, man, thank you, Ben, for all your stuff you're doing and everything, and get better.
Yeah, there wasn't a whole lot said today, or at least not that I've noticed, about it being Pearl Harbor Day.
Well, I noticed a couple of things. I mean, BRCC did their thing. A bunch of other, veteran stuff that we followed. Well, yeah,
but I'm just talking about the mainstream media stuff, and and it's becoming a more and more of a disturbing trend.
And what's another thing is a lot of those people that were there are dead.
We don't have a lot of them left.
No, was it Bob Dole?
Yeah, Bob Dole just died.
Yeah,
we observed a moment of silence for him last night at the American Legion meeting. But, it's becoming more and more of a disturbing trend with the mainstream media and even social media platforms in this country. It's bad enough that they're already trying to erase 9/11 from our memories.
Yeah.
But they're trying to lessen the importance. Every year it becomes more and more of a moot thing about Pearl Harbor Day. D-Day is kind of like a passing thing now.
Every once in a while, like on this time frame and everything, my brother, Jason, he keeps on saying, he's like, man, it's Pearl Harbor. I was like, yeah, well,
if you're going to make a really crass joke, don't.
Okay.
Yeah. See, I knew where you were going with that one.
Please.
No. I mean, especially because you were the one that brought up, let's have a moment of reverence here.
Yeah. Okay.
See. So, but
I'm a very dark person, so
I get that. But a lot of times we just, what is
have to tug the collar a couple of times to let me know not to do it.
Yeah, I'll get a water bottle. And no, bad. But
That might not work.
will it will if I put vinegar in it?
Oh yeah, that'll definitely work. Fucking hate vinegar.
It's like just sit there and dill.
Yeah,
See what I did there?
yeah, I fucking hate vinegar. Anything, the sauerkraut, can't fucking eat sauerkraut.
See, that's why you take cucumbers instead of pickles.
I see what you did there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyways, but I mean, it's we get accused of whitewashing things and appropriating culture, but it's like the media and all of its different facets and forms and formats, they're doing the same damn thing.
Yeah.
I mean, they are whitewashing the crap out of American history. And there's going to come a day when they shit on us as a people.
Well,
when they shit on us,
yeah,
there's going to come a time when, there's going to be a violent uprising. I mean, you're going to legitimately see buildings like CNN downtown in Atlanta, NBC and ABC and CBS in New York City. People are going to be picketing and rioting outside of those buildings, demanding that change be made.
No, what it is nowadays is a lot of people aren't getting news from like the big corporations. Where do you think they're getting from people like us?
Well, like I said, mainstream media.
Yeah.
The drive-by media, they are whitewashing American history. And it's like, you always hear that phrase that, history is written by the victors. But I'm sorry, I didn't hear no fat lady.
Yeah.
Ain't nobody saying. And if they did, they were off key. And I didn't hear that. I ain't about that life. So, I'll kindly ask you to just back away from the mic, not you, but back away from the microphone. Quit reading out of a teleprompter. And attempt, may not be successful at it at first, but if you keep at it, you can accomplish anything. But back away from the phallus tip and the teat of the Democrat Party. Because there's a lot of Americans, men and women alike, that have fought, died, and have sacrificed everything for this country. There are men and women here at home that either stayed home and made a difference during the war years, or came home from war, or came home from the service period, and cut out a little corner of the country for themselves, and they made something of it, and they made our country better. Whether it's one little community at a time or if it's something on a grand scale, they've done everything that they've needed to do and then some. They did everything that was asked of them. Then they came home and they took advantage of the benefits that they earned.
Yeah.
And made something of themselves, and they contributed to the overall excellence of our country.
And what's really sad is a lot of those benefits we're still fighting to keep.
Yeah. Because we could go on and on and on, but we're fixing to have to wrap this up because I've got some place to be. But, it's not something that, it's a trend that needs to stop. It's definitely something that needs to be reversed. And whether it's through small outlets like ourselves, Black Rifle, Cleared Hot, Daily Wire, or the Daily Caller, rather.
Daily Wire.
Yeah,
too.
Daily Wire, too. People like Chad Prather, Ben Shapiro, Carlson Tucker, Sean Hannity. Even Mark Levin.
Alex Carolla.
You mean Adam Carolla?
Adam Carolla.
Yeah, Adam Carolla. Adam Carolla is a very, very staunch conservative.
Yeah.
But keep speaking up and speaking out, because...
And hell, most of the comedians that go out there every day to do comedy.
Well, not most, but there are some.
Yeah.
But, and we're not talking about a violent insurrection here. We're not talking about that.
Yeah.
Okay. But we are talking about exercising your First Amendment rights, recognizing the fact that it's protected, just like the rest of our amendments, by the Second.
Yeah.
And defend yourself, both physically and intellectually. Defend yourself. And I mean, it's going to be a long battle. We are fighting a battle against statism. And Ronald Reagan said a long time ago that socialism will reattempt to enter the country, but it'll do it under a different name, whether it's through liberalism, progressivism, or, statism. Socialism and communism are going to try to infiltrate the United States. And they're going to do it on an academic level, and they're going to do it on a political level. And he was absolutely right, because that's exactly what they're doing.
Yeah.
But, I pray for our country. I pray for the leaders that have, that exercise common sense. And I pray that the eyes and hearts of those who oppose our founding principles have their hearts softened and their eyes opened. But keep fighting your fight, and don't let people trying to shout you down discourage you from saying what you feel to be true. But if you're going to do that, do like anybody else and practice what I preach.
And do a little bit more research.
Educate yourself with more than just one source. Because if you're going to do nothing more than regurgitate the talking points of one party versus another, don't waste your time. Don't waste my oxygen. Instead, find something more creative and a little bit more entrepreneuring to do with your time. But until then, I'm Johnny Skelton.
I'm David Dickman. And thank you for watching.
Thanks a lot.